You want to find that moment of peace to your busy schedule and pause for personal study, but gosh, it is so hard to come by sometimes, right? Well, the thinking moments are quickly interrupted here. My next guest believes that the time is there for you to adjust your perspective just slightly. She claims that you can add meaning in just 1 minute. Kristen Walker-Smith joins me now in Studio 5. Thank you for being here, Kristen.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, let's talk about this. We're busy moms. I mean, this became a passion of yours, helping these moms find that moment to study and reflect.
Yeah.
How did that become such a passion for you?
Okay, so can we dive in to the nightmare?
Let's get into it.
the nightmare.
You've lived it.
Yes. My family is wonderful. You know, I've got a lovely husband. I've got 3 great kids. And my husband and I, we share some core values that are based in our faith in God that we really wanted to instill in our kids. And so we thought, well, family study time is going to be when we'll do that. And so we made that a priority. We're like, okay, we'll do this every single night. The problem is
we're busy.
Well, no, it's a circus.
Oh, yeah, that too, that too, that too.
We are busy, but then when we finally get it to happen, it's
chaotic.
A circus, yes. We've got kids rolling on the ground like it's the WWE, and one kid's crying. And
sounds like my childhood.
Right? And my husband and I are just so frustrated because we're trying so hard, and it doesn't look like it's working, but we keep doing it because we know it matters.
Yeah.
And so we persist, and then one day, we go to church and a church leader asks my kids a question that we had just studied together. It was something that I knew my kids knew. And I'm like, this is the moment.
Yeah.
This is the payoff. I'm going to see how their values are in them. And they look like deer in the headlights.
Oh, no. Okay, so you came up with this 1 minute solution. It doesn't really work.
Yes, it really does. Because I've tried everything else. I've tried the verse by verse in the scriptures is what we do.
Yeah.
But I have found a method where you just study. It's 1 minute is the minimum, and you dive into whatever it is you're reading, and you come out of it a better person, and you actually kind of have fun.
Before we get into the breakdown of it, tell me why you feel personal study is so important.
Okay. This is critical because I think a lot of families are thinking, well, if we just do it as a family, we're good. Personal study for yourself and for your kids matters. So there was actually a study done back a long time ago about what it is that makes values consistent for a kid who has these values in their home growing up, what makes it so that they have those values when they are older? And it's that they have to have personal experiences with those values. They have to personally encounter the divine. They can't just have mom and dad be the intermediary all the time. They've got to have that experience. And then as an adult, it affects your life. The Center for Bible Engagement actually has done fabulous studies on the effects of reading the Bible, and I would imagine this applies to any, value-based book. But they found that if you study at least 4 times a week, it decreases your likelihood of looking at pornography 59%.
Wow.
It decreases your loneliness levels by 30%, and it makes you 51% more likely to feel confident that you are becoming a better person because of it. So it makes a difference when you study.
It matters. Okay, I want to lean into this. Let's get into, so I want to explain to people how to do this and where to find the solution. So this reflective minute, what does it look like?
Okay, so we're going to go back to childhood here, and we're going to do imagination. Can you do this with
I can
me?
do it.
And we can do it with actually anything. Can we actually do this together?
Let's
right
do it.
now? Okay, so I normally do it with the scriptures with my family, but you can do it with something like the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. So we're going to imagine ourselves holding a sword. It's called the sword method. Okay, so we're holding the sword, and the first thing we do is we look at the point, and we ask ourselves, what was the point of what I just learned? So what is the point of the golden rule? It's that other people are having a hard time too. And you need to give people grace and be kind to them and hope that they'll do the same for you, right? Okay. So we found the point of what we just studied. Then we look down at the handle and we say, what does this have to do with me personally? How well am I doing this? And so you would think, well, is there anyone in my life that I am not giving grace to? And you think about, that neighbor who you always get annoyed because they leave their porch light on at night and it shines into your house. And so you think, well, okay, maybe I'm not giving grace where I need to. And then you focus on the actual sword itself and you ask, how can I add power? How can I swing this sword? And so you think, maybe today I will send a nice text to that neighbor and tell them one thing I really like about them. That took 1 minute, and it was one simple thing, but now we have taken action with what we've studied, and it's so powerful.
That was so simple.
It was, yeah.
And you can do this with, anything that you're studying?
Yeah, last night our family sang a song because it was supposed to be scripture study time, but I'm like, I'm gonna be on TV tomorrow, kids, I gotta go to bed.
So walk me through that real quick. So you had a song.
We sang a song, and it was all about where can I turn for peace? And so at the end I said, okay, kids, what do you think the point of that was? Where do we go when life is hard, and how do we find peace? And they're like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, great. So is there anything in your life right now that you're really struggling with? And have you asked Jesus for help? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, then tonight, how about when you say your prayers at night, you ask Jesus for help? And they're like, okay. So they went and said their prayers and asked Jesus for help.
That is
Done.
a 3-step simple
Yeah,
process.
so simple.
And roughly a minute.
Yeah,
And you're there.
absolutely. Anyone has time for that.
What do you think is the most powerful element of that? Is it the point? Is it the power? Is it, what do you think is the most powerful moment in that?
I think that the most powerful, they're all powerful. It's like picking a favorite child. But I think that an important part of it is finding yourself in it personally. So often we'll
Relate
read
it.
a self-help book or the scriptures or whatever, and it's about someone else. But when it becomes about you, man, that adds power.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I am going to put that into action
Good.
because it is
I'm
chaos when we
excited.
try to do personal study at my house too with 2 little kids.
We can all relate.
Kristen, thank you. Where can we find more great insight from you?
Well, I am on Instagram at Kristen Walker Smith, and I have a podcast called 1 Minute Scripture Study, and there's a book for that on Amazon.
I'm going to be thinking about the sword all day now.
Okay,
Thank you.
awesome.
I appreciate that.